so swell, Miss Elizabeth Kuyper.
Thank you. All right. I am the only person I know that can honestly say, I loved 8th grade. My parents sent me to a nearby boarding school in the hopes that I would learn to be a good student and a well-mannered young lady. I was 13 years old, 6 feet tall, and for the first time in my life, no one made fun of my height. I was socially accepted and even admired and respected for my extensive knowledge of pop culture and every step of the New York hustle from Saturday Night Fever. That's right. On the first day of school, each grade meets together in one large hall before heading off to their classes. My seat assignment was at the very back by the door. The girl next to me was also new, so we sat there in our quiet, newborn teen angst, watching everyone come in to find their name and seat, see what friends had returned and whom the new faces were. And then he walked in. McLeod. Ian McLeod. This tall, dark-haired, very cute boy, alongside a friend, both sizing up the room, talking about who had left and who did they know that was still there, pointing to each student as they strode up to their seats. Know him, know her, don't know him, don't know her, know him. And for the briefest instant, he looked straight at me. Don't know her. And they moved on. The bell rang, and that moment, and he, was all but forgotten in the confusion of attempting to survive the first day at a brand new school. He and I never ended up having any classes together. The following spring, as the school year was quickly approaching its end, he popped back into my mind by way of a dream. Swear to God. G-rated. Throughout the day, I couldn't shake it. I stared at the back of his head in the morning class meeting. His lovely head of thick, 70s pop idol brown hair. A few days passed. I still couldn't get him out of my head. I had to do something, but what? Speak to him? No, not a chance. I mean, what if he didn't like me? I was not about to be humiliated like before. That's a different story. What do 13-year-old kids do when they like someone, aside from terrorizing them? So I wrote a note and stuck it in his locker. Something along the lines of, I have liked you all year long and just wanted you to know, you seem very nice and I think you are very cute. At least I was smart in not mentioning the dream. You know, it's my 16 Candles reference. Jake, you're not going to believe this, but I had this very bizarre dream and you were in it. I spent the next few days in sheer terror, not knowing if I would be spat upon, asked out, said hello to, or worst of all, nothing. Then one day, a note appeared in my locker. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you for the note. It was really nice to get. I think you're very pretty. If you would like to meet up sometime after school, we could go to Jack in the Box. Let me know if you would like that. Ian. Oh my God. And I thought sheer terror was what I felt before I got the note. We wrote back and forth for a bit and we planned our date for Jack in the Box. I freaked out at the last minute and I sent a friend to tell him I couldn't go. I know, I suck. And I even wrote that in the story. I know. I remember watching her go to talk to him as I hid behind the corner of a building. I just couldn't do it. An opportunity I will always regret. On graduation day, students walk with their team color on the designated side of the quad for the ceremony. He was a gold, I was a purple. My friends had secretly arranged with him to switch sides so he could sit next to me. As he stepped in behind me and smiled, I felt sick. Just as we were about to sit down, two other friends waved me over, indicating they'd been saving me a seat. I dodged out of line and sat with them, leaving Ian in his gold to sit among the purples, alone. An opportunity I will always regret. The school year ended, and I knew I wasn't going back. My parents and the school had mutually agreed that it was best for me not to return. That's another story. I was devastated. I wrote to Ian. He wrote me back. I know, like me, you're asking, at this point? Why? But he did. I invited him to come up for my birthday party. We were going to go to Knott's Berry Farm, and my parents said that he could come and bring a friend, and they could stay overnight in my brother's room. And he said yes. He was coming to my birthday party. We picked him and his friend up at the station, barely managing a muffled, "Hi, hi." I dragged my best friend Lori along, warning her not to flirt with him, but be talkative, as I, once again, somehow lost my ability of language the moment he showed up. Knott's was a blast, though you'd never know it from the pictures that were taken. I was frozen with terror the entire day. Every picture, I'm going like this. At the end of the day, there was one more ride I wanted to go on. Everyone else talked about going home. Well, it was my freaking birthday. So I stood my ground and I waited for Lori to finally give in and go on the ride with me. Then out of the silence, another voice arose. "I'll go with you." Oh my God. I couldn't breathe. I wanted to die. I wanted to spontaneously combust. I wanted an earthquake, a tornado, tsunami, something to prevent me from actually being next to this beautiful boy. And yet, that's all I wanted. The only thing I could hear was my heart pounding until the little voice in my head, which I still don't listen to often enough, cried out, "Say something!" Okay. We walked in silence. We stood in line in silence. At one point, he did say, "A lot of weather we've been having lately." I was able to force out a, yeah. We got on the ride, had a great time, laughing and howling. We got off the ride and walked back to the rest of the group in silence. The next morning, we drove them back to the train station, my mother and Ian's friend doing most of the talking. They got on the train. I did manage to say, "Bye, thanks for coming," and he was gone. He gave me a gold-plated necklace with a heart on it. I wore it every day until my neck turned green. We wrote to each other a few times more until the new school year came. He didn't go back to that school either. His parents sent him to a boarding school near Santa Barbara. By that time, of course, I decided I loved him, and I tried to call the school. I got a teacher by the same name who said that he would pass along the message. I never heard from him again. I think of him every July 25th on his birthday, which is the week before mine, and I wonder what he's up to and if he would remember me at all, let alone think of me every so often. My behavior with Ian McLeod, an opportunity I will always regret. Look at the Kuyper. Oh, thank you so much.